Hey boys and girls, Brother Jared here, and I'm at church. I'm in our chapel room, and you all are at home, not in school. And I'm hoping that you're having a good time with mom and dad, and maybe you've been outside with brothers and sisters or your grandparents and enjoying some of God's sunshine today. This is a beautiful day, and I know you're at home and you're not in school, and some of you have been doing schoolwork online. Well, Brother Jared wanted to do videos to make sure we keep having our chapel lessons, because it's really important to me that we keep learning about God and God's Word and all the wonderful stories of the Bible. And you know, the last couple of weeks we've been learning about that little shepherd boy, and I hope you all remember out there, what's that little shepherd boy's name? That's right, it's David. And this little shepherd boy, he's going to grow up and become the new, I hope you all are saying it right now to mom and dad, he's going to be the next king. And we know that Samuel came and put oil on his head and said, this is going to be the next king. And we know that David killed a bear and he killed a lion while he was out watching his father's sheep, and that God gave him the strength and ability, and they gave him this great courage. We know that his dad Jesse's got worried about his brothers being off in war, so he sent David with some food to go check on his brothers. And we know that his brothers have been there, and they're on one side of the mountain, of the valley on a mountain. On the other side of the valley on a mountain, there's the Philistines. And we know that they heard the big, stinky, smelly giant named Goliath, challenging, wanting somebody to fight him. And if they kill him, then the Philistines will be their slaves. But if Goliath wins, then all of Israel's going to be the Philistine slaves. And we know that nobody's been brave enough to want to fight Goliath. And David was there watching his brothers, and he's like, I can't believe nobody here's brave enough to fight this giant. Well, I'm brave enough to do it. We know that he got made fun of. And now, David's got to go before King Saul. And here's our picture this week on this part. We've got David, the little shepherd boy, and the almighty King Saul sitting on his throne. So let's see what's going to happen. It says, David has volunteered to fight the giant. So David has gone and stood before the almighty king of Israel named Saul. And he says, hey, there's no need for any of our soldiers to be afraid anymore of this big, stinky, loud-mouthed giant named Goliath. I'm going to be your servant, king, and I'm going to fight this giant for you. But Saul won't hear of it. He says, you can't fight this man. He's a champion. He's been fighting and trained to fight longer than you've been alive. He started training for this when he was a little boy. And you're just a boy yourself, and all you do is watch sheep. How inexperienced Saul thought David was. But what Saul doesn't know is that God's been working through David. And he's delivered into his hands a bear and a lion. But David's like, listen, I'm my dad's servant, and I watch my father's sheep really well. And a lion came and snatched a lamb from the flock. And I went after it, and I grabbed that lamb from its mouth. It turned on me, and I caught it by its beard. Not a beard like Brother Jared, but you know, a lion's got a big old mane. So he grabbed a hold of it by its mane, and I killed it. He says, I've killed a lion and a bear with the Lord's help. And I can also kill this heathen Philistine, for he's went against the armies of God. And my God has delivered the lion and the bear into my hands, and I know, because I've got great faith, said David, that he'll deliver this Philistine into my hands. When Saul heard these words, he was convinced. He said, you know what, David? Go, and the Lord be with thee. He must have sensed that David had a lot of faith in God, and he was trusting that God was going to give David this victory. King Saul told David, hey, you can wear the king's armor against this giant. Saul's armor was brought before David, and he put it on. And Saul gave him a coat of mail and a bronze helmet on his head, and he gave him a shield, and David put on the armor. He said, I can't go on these things, king. I'm not used to them, and they don't fit me. They're very, very big, and it's uncomfortable. So David took off all the armor. Boys and girls, he's got no armor on this physically, but you want to know what armor he's got? He's got on the armor of God. And God's armor, we may not be able to see it, but we know it's there. It says, those standing around possibly begin to say, well, what are you going to wear, David? You've got to have armor. Every soldier has armor going into battle. Perhaps David replied, I don't need any battle. And our next picture shows Goliath here. He's got his spear. Remember we talked about that the head of that spear weighed 25 pounds and how heavy his coat of armor weighed over 200. And we see him with his spear and he's come out on the battlefield. And we see the little shepherd boy here, David. He's bent down at the creek, remember? And he's picking up those stones. Boys and girls, how many stones did he pick up? 1, 2, 3. No, he's going to pick up 5 smooth stones. It says, picking up his shepherd's staff, David started down towards the valley, while the army of the Philistines and the army of Israel gathered all around on each mountainside to watch what was going to happen first in this battle, to see this first person that was willing to accept the challenge. At the brook, David leaned down and he picked up 5 smooth stones and he put them into his shepherd's bag on his side. David probably stopped and prayed, Lord, I have no might or strength, but I'm trusting you for this victory over this giant named Goliath. I've told the king and these soldiers of Israel that you're bigger than the giant, and I believe that you're going to help me. Dear Lord, let me know that you're greater than this giant Goliath. Goliath must have been stunned to see this rosy-cheeked lad dressed in shepherd's clothes accept his challenge. Armed with just a sling and his shepherd's staff, Goliath became angry. He roared at David, am I a dog that you're going to come against me with just a stick or a staff? Come to me, little boy, and I'll give your flesh to the birds of the air and all the beasts of the field. David did not turn and run, nor was he scared by this Goliath's threats. Instead, he shouted in reply, you come against me with your sword and your spear and a shield, but I am coming to you, Goliath, in the name of the Lord, the God of over all the armies of Israel today. And you've defied my God for the last time. Today the Lord's going to defeat you, Goliath, by giving me the strength to strike you down. He will do this so that the whole world will know that there's a God today in Israel. All those watching here will know that it was not by a sword or by a spear or by any other weapon the Lord saves. For the battle is the Lord's, and he will give all your army into our hands today. That did it, Goliath, filled with rage, determined to make an end of David. Moving closer in his heavy armor, he lunged forward with his spear pointed to David. David didn't back down. Not once did he back down. He knew that his God was greater than Goliath. Well, that's going to end the lesson for today, but I'm going to ask some questions. Before David went into battle, what was the name of the king that he had to go see and tell that he was going to fight the giant? I have another question for you. This king offered to let David borrow his what to put on before he went into battle. And did David keep it, or did David tell the king to keep it? And how many stones did David pick up out of the water that day? And do you think David actually prayed before God? Or do you think David said, no, I've got this? But listen, that's our lesson today for our children's chapel. And Brother Jared will have another message for you next week. And next week, we're going to finish this epic battle in this valley between this big, stinky, smelly giant named Goliath and this little shepherd boy named David, who had the greatest amount of faith in the God of Israel. So boys and girls, Brother Jared loves you, and I miss you. And listen, I can't wait till we're back here in our classroom at church so we can have our lessons and watch our VeggieTale videos. And so Brother Jared can buy you candy and give you candy. But I love you and I miss you, and I hope you have a great day, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.